What is up, everyone? How is everyone doing out there today? Welcome back to Wildcat MTG. Today's going to be a good day. And you know why I know today's going to be a good day? Because today we get to open some Time Spiral Remastered. All right, today we have a Time Spiral Remastered box battle. Most of you are familiar with how this thing works, but for those of you who are not, how this thing is going to work. We're going to open this thing up. We have 6 participants today. Each one of them is going to get 6 packs. We're going to open those packs in rounds of 3, adding up the mana values for all the rares and all the mythics. And at the end of this thing, the person with the highest total mana value and the person with the lowest total mana value amongst rares and mythics, and actually time-shifted cards, my apologies, time-shifted cards as well, will each get 1 collector pack of Aether Drift to go along with their other spoils. In the event of a tie, we will take the highest mana value mythic as the first tiebreaker, the highest mana value rare as the second tiebreaker, and if we need a third tiebreaker, we will go down the line with the highest mana value rare until we have a tie, no more. Time Spiral Remastered. Okay. We're going to start by giving these a good shuffle. Look at this gold foily goodness. So, while I'm shuffling these up, of course, the big draw in Time Spiral Remastered is you're going to get 1 time-shifted card per pack, and you're going to average about 1 time-shifted foil per box. And those have a very nice premium on them, kind of ranging from as low as just a couple of dollars. Like, there's some duds in there, don't get me wrong. All the way up until like the $340 range if you were to, say, pull a foil time-shifted Ponder. So there are some bangers in there. I used to say that Mythics were kind of not like the draw in this set, and then they kind of were all of a sudden like, hey, this is pretty good. Now they're kind of back to being like, they're not so good. There's 15 Mythics in this set. I think 4 of them are above like $7. So now there's 4 really good ones, but there's a lot of miss there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's deal out some packs. We got 6 for J and V. We got 6 for Michael C. Come on. 6 for Fop. 6 for Vincent Y. 6 for D Money. And last but not least, we've got 6 for Ezra. Okay, we'll go 3, 2, 1, as we tend to do. Good luck, everyone. Let's have some fun. JMV, we start with you. Foil's kind of a big deal in this set. You're going to get 1 to maybe 2 foil rares per box, about a foil mythic in a case, which is 1 per 6 boxes. So they are kind of a big deal. You don't get like a foil even in every pack. So even some of like the foil commons and uncommons actually do have some really nice value to them as well. A couple $10 plus foil commons and uncommons. All right, here we go. We are going to start with a Safi Eriksdotter as our rare. And our first time-shifted card is Containment Priest. That's a 2 and a 2 for mana value. I did mention 4 mythics. The big ones right now, Sliver, which one are you? Legion? Sliver Legion, I think. Is back up to like $55 right now. I think Gemstone Cavern sitting around $50. And then after that, we have Chromos Memorials in like the 32-ish range. And then I think Damnation is staying around 20 because Damnation is a mythic in this set. Next pack. Wheel of Fate. Again, plenty of miss in this. You're going to average about 4 mythics per box on average. Sometimes 3, sometimes 5, about 4. But Wheel of Fate. And Time of Need as our time-shifted card. I will sleeve up that Wheel of Fate in just a moment. All right, here we go. Third pack. Jane V, this is actually remarkably low right now. He said as there were greater Gargadons looming in the shadows. All right, Celestial Crusader, Haze of Rage, Faceless Devourer. Rare is Benelish Commander. All right, still keeping it low for the moment. And Moody Lily, Lilion's Triumph. Looks like we have a foil in here. It's a foil uncommon, Sulfur Elemental. Let me sleeve up the Wheel of Fate. Let us add up some mana values. So we have a 0, a 2, 6, 8, 10. Is that a 12? That is really low. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12 it is. Holy moly. For 3 packs of TSR, that is a very low mana value total. There is a bunch of swing in this product because you have delve cards, you have some cards with rather large mana values, and then you actually have quite a few lands in here as well. So, Jor's Time Bug. It's another one of those foils. It's like an $11 foil for a foil common. All right, Riptide, Sulfur Elemental, Mythic, AK. All right, again, not going to be one of the 4 we mentioned, but I think you can do and feel worse about things than an Ancestral Vision. Also a 0 mana value. Followed by a Resto Angel, and that will do it there. Michael, your second pack. Time-shifted cards. There's some good ones. We haven't really talked about it, but Thoughtseize is still in there. Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void is only like, I don't say only, but like 16, 18 bucks. It's wild that you can potentially get like a playset of foil, or not foil, excuse me, some time-shifted Chalice of the Voids for what 1 used to cost, basically. Feels like not a horrible time to pick those up. Rare is Tombstalker, and there's one of those big delve cards. That is an 8/4 mana value. I remember Tombstalker was like strangely playable. Lava Spike as a 1 for mana value, and that will do it there. Yawgmoth is also a time-shifted card. I think Yawgmoth's still like 15, 16 bucks. Chalice, we mentioned. Thoughtseize, we mentioned. A lot of other really good ones in there. Kiki Jiki's in there. Okay, here we go. 3rd pack for Michael. We really hope to hit at least one of those mythics, and then get some of the good time-shifted things. Another Safi Eric's Daughter. Okay, weird. That's a 2. Followed by a Sanguine Bond. Foil. Oh, foil rare. It is Pact of the Titan. It is a 0 mana value. The Pact of the Titan. Pact of Negation is the one we would have wanted to see there. Pact, I think, is like 15, 16 bucks again for the blue Pact. All right, here we go. That was 3 packs. So we got 0, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 20, 20. A couple zeros in there. That's the swing with these packs. Pretty funny. Okay, so again, 4, 8's 12, 13, 14, 15, 20 it is. We have seen 2 mythics already. Hopefully at least 2 more still looming in this box. 3 would be kind of the low end. We have seen 1 foil rare, but you can often get 2 per box. Again, foil mythics are pretty rare. They're basically case hits, 1 per 6 boxes. All right, Fop, we go to you. Arcblade, Harmonize, Molten Slag Heap. Rare is Carer Keep. Is a 0 for mana value. Followed by a Past in Flames. Hey, that's not bad. Past in Flames. It's 4 for mana value. And a foil uncommon of Knight of the Holy Nimbus. Second pack. Of course, Big Chase is kind of mentioned. Is, in fact, the foiled time-shifted cards. These boxes have a tendency to make me wait for them, but they are oftentimes worth the wait. Phantom Worm, Stormfront Riders, Crozen Grip. Rare is Felon of Havenwood, that is a 2 also. Followed by the Saddest of Robots, Solemn Simulacrum. And we have a foil, it is a foil common, Giant Dust Wasp. Alright, 3rd pack. Have not hit a ton of value yet. It is still early in the box, but I'm hoping things pick up here. Okay. We have a Joda's Avenger, Timebender, Fungal Reaches. The rare is Angel's Grace. There's a good rare. That is actually a really good rare. Angel's Grace, not bad. As a 1 for mana value. Time shifted is Molten Rain. Molten Rain. All right, and that is 3 packs. So we've got 3, 4, 10, nope, 8, 10, 14. Let me run that back. That's 4, 5, 6, 10, and 14 it is. All right. Yeah, I'm going to keep the Angel's Grace on top. All right, Vincent. Vincent, to you for 3. Couple of good uncommons in here. Rebuff the Wicked is almost like I think it's up to almost $5 again. Thick-Skinned Goblin, Mire Boa, Urza's Factory. Rare is Lotus Bloom. Very, I think, iconic classic art at this point. Panharmonicon. Panharmonicon's kind of cool. That's a 4. Looks like we might have a foil in here. Foil common, 2-headed sliver. Large sliver presence in this set. Sliver's kind of becoming a little bit of a thing again because we know that we're getting at least one card from Edge of Eternities, which then, of course, piques some interest in the sliver deck lovers. Hey, Mana Monkey, cool. There's lots of slivers in this deck, in this set. All right, Core Dirge, Riftmark Knight, Cryptic Annelid, Rare, Cloud Key. All right, that's a 3. Followed by a Laboratory Maniac. Labman's always normally worth at least a few bucks. We move into our third pack here. Lots of good commons and uncommons in the set. I know we don't really look at them when it comes to battles, but hey, there we go. Rebuff the Wicked. There's one of those uncommons. Reiterate. I think Reiterate's back up to $5 or $6. Not the worst. I'll reiterate that. Pause. And Remand. And foil uncommon is Llanowar Mentor. All right. So 2, 5, 8, 11, 15. Still 15. 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. It is. What do I want to put on top? I don't know. I feel like the Panharmonicon, even though I actually think it's possible to reiterate, is more valuable at this moment in time. D-Money, it is your turn. To you for 3. For whatever it's worth, those of you who have tuned in and watched me open this product many, many times have heard this before. I also recommend as a fun draft experience. I have a lot of fun. A little bias in there. A little bias, but hey, another Rebuff of Wicked. That's kind of cool. Second of the box. Rare is Jaya Ballard Taskmage as a 3, followed by Become Immense, which is a 6, and that is in fact immense. Looks like we have a foil in here. Foil common is Strangling Soot. I have a lot of fun drafting this set, but yeah, a lot of bias because Time Spiral Block is, the original Time Spiral Block is one of my favorite timed periods of time in Magic in general. You had Time Spiral Block followed right by the Lorwyn block, followed by I think Shards of Alara, if memory serves. Just a banger of a time to be playing lots of Magic the Gathering. Utopia Mycon. Rare is Walk the Eons. Walk the Aeons, which is a 6 for mana value. That is not small. And then a Repeal, which is a 1. Move to our third pack. Time Spiral Block, of course, being Time Spiral, Planar Chaos, and then Future Sight. And Lorwyn was actually a 4-block set. All right, Shivan Sandmage, Cloud Cedar. Delay, one of my more favorite counter spells. Rare is Flagstones of Trocare, Flagstones of a few dollars. Sylvan Scrying. And that will do it there. That was 3 packs. All right, well, this might be a contender for high mana value. We might be up there. 2, 3, 9, 15, 18, we're close, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16, 18 it is. Wait. Yeah, I think that's right. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16, 18. 18. What do I want to put on top? I guess I'll put the Flagstones on top. Sure. Ezra, it is your turn. Here we go. Yixilid Jailer, Pendlehaven Elder, Conflagrate, Extirpate, very nice. Extirpate is always a spell I love. I'm a huge fan of Split Second. Followed by, hey, Silence, that's a good one. Low mana value, really good card. All right, second pack. Ancient Grudge. All right, Fury Sliver into Return to Dust. Firewake Sliver. We got a mythic Gauntlet of Power. Gauntlet of Power is a 5 mana value, followed by a Slimefoot, the Stowaway, and that will do it there. Prior to the reprint in this set, and it's been since reprinted again, and it was what? Dominaria Remastered. Was a very valuable card at one point, mostly due to scarcity, so the reprint did a number on it, but Gauntlet's still a cool card. Alright, 5 mana is a lot now, though, right? Modern Magic, 5 mana is an eternity. Ezra, your third pack. That is 3 mythics through this box. And while we are not at the very bottom of the well there, we certainly have not struck pay dirt either. Muckdrub, Salt Blast, Darkheart Sliver. Now, there's a mythic. It is our 4th mythic of the box is Teferi, Mage of Zalfur. As a 5, followed by the Leveler, which is also a 5. We have a foil in here. It's a foil common Coral Trickster. All right, let me sleeve up Teferi. And yet again, we have some mana value to add up. It does appear 5, 10, 15, 18, 19, and 20. That did not seem like it was going to start off to be 20 mana value, but here we are. 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, and 20. Sure, why not? Silence is probably actually the most valuable card there. So after the first round, though, Jane V in the low with a 12. Michael tied for the high with a 20. Fop with a 14. Vincent with a 15. D-Money with an 18. And Ezra also tied for the high with a 20. We have unfortunately seen, well, we've seen 4 mythics. And unfortunately, none of them were any of the 4 that we wanted to see. You could probably do a little bit worse in those categories. Like it wasn't the very bottom of the barrel, but we didn't get any of the big hitters either. Through the first half of the box, we're still at large for a retro frame time-shifted foil. They average about 1 per box. I've seen boxes that were 0. We've never had that incident happen yet. We've seen as many as 3. I've pulled as many as 3. So, a lot of ball game left. Here we go. Jane V, back to you for 2. Jane V, you're currently in the low. And we have, for whatever it's worth, we have seen 5 mythic boxes as well, even without one being a foil. It's more common that if you're going to have 5, that one's going to be a foil, but it is certainly doable without. Smallpox. Rare is Swarmyard. Hey, there's a good rare. Did get a reprint in one of the commander decks, I think when it was it had to have been Bloomburrow, right? So which dropped it, but still a really good land. Just taps for colorless and then tap no additional mana investment to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. Super good card. 0 mana value. Also kind of where J and V wants to be. That's a Crystal Shard. That's a 3. And we have a foil. Ooh, it's a foil time shifted. It is Rakdos Charm. Okay, not bad. Foil time shifted Rakdos Charm. You could actually do a whole lot worse than that. Very cool. So there we go. Our streak continues. Like as we do more of these boxes, I hesitate to say the stats out loud. We've opened a lot of boxes of Time Spiral Remastered, and we've never had a 0 box yet. And we live to play another day. We continue our streak of having at least 1 foil time shifted. All right, here we go. Congrats, Jane V. That's a solid hit for sure. Brine Elemental, Outrider, Paradise Plume. Rare is Nether Trader. In the past, I wouldn't have said Nether Trader, but Nether Trader is actually like $15 now. I think that and Pact of Negation are running neck and neck for the 2 of the 3 highest most valuable rares. The biggest one is Urborg, which is still like $50. So, but Nether Trader is also a very good hit, is what I'm trying to say. Ancient Stirrings, and that will do it there. Well, a couple of really good packs for J and V, between the Rakdos Charm, the Trader, and even the Swarmyard in there. And low mana values, right? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's pretty good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. That brings you up to a total of 20. All right. And of course, we gave these packs a good shuffle. So with that being said, there is the possibility of another foil time shifted lurking. Well, Michael, back to you for 2. Michael, you were currently tied for the high with 20. There are some large mana value cards left in this set still. In these, that we have not opened, I should say. Yavimaya Dryad, Stone Cloaker. Rare is Hivestone. Hivestone, that is a 2, followed by Ethereal Armor, which is a 1. Hivestone is a card that you're like, oh, it's slivers. And you're like, well, I mean, not really, right? Like, it's a card I have many copies of. So if it wanted to take off because slivers become a thing again, more power to it. But it's a card that makes your other stuff slivers, which at a point, like, what deck are you playing it in that's not slivers already? It's very weird like that. Awkward. All right, hey, Pongify. Pongify is another solid uncommon. A few bucks there. Whip, Spine, Drake, Mycologist. Rare is Sangir and Nosferatu. That is a 5, followed by a Farseek, which is a 2. We have a foil in here. It's a foil common Ivory Giant. All right. Michael, how'd you do? 2 plus 5, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 8, 10 it is. It's a solid mana value for 2 packs. Let's see if it's enough to hold off the field for the moment. That brings you up to a 30 total. Fop, back to you. I know we pulled the Rakdos Charm, but I would like to see a little bit more juice out of this box. All right. Riftwing Cloudskate, Keen Sense, Wipe Away. Rare is Glittering Wish, followed by a Vanquisher's Banner. Solid. Looks like we have a foil in here. It's a foil rare, and it's a Pole Monic Sliver. That is a 5 for mana value. Not going to be one of your big hitters as far as value is concerned, but 5 mana value will actually help your cause in terms of chasing down the field for high mana value at this point. And you were certainly close enough to be in contention for that. Here we go. A little careful consideration. Imperiosaur. Harmonic Sliver. Rare is Pact of Negation. That will not help your cause for the high, but it is a very good card and also a pretty valuable one as well. Followed by Cranial Plating, which is a 2. And that's going to do it there. But, hey, at least we've hit, aside from Urborg, which is, you know, always welcome, we've hit the next 2 highest, most valuable, I should say, rares in the set in this box. That is something. 2, 7, 12, 13, 14. Let me run that back. It's 5, 10, 12, 13, 14. Yep. All right, Fop, that is going to bring you to a 28, which certainly puts you in contention for the high. You're currently chasing Michael by only 2 with the 1 pack to go. Of course, the field's still behind you. D-Money and Ezra both had 18s and or had 18 and 20 respectively. Vincent, you kind of still there with a 15. J&B is going to be hard to catch for the low. He's had 2 very low packs overall, especially for this set. All right, Vincent, back to you for 2. Children of Corliss, Riftmark Knight, Stormcloud Jin, Street Wraith. Rare is Vesivan Shapeshifter. That is a 5, followed by a Hedron Archive, which is a 4. And that will do it there. Street Wraith, another one of those cards that was it was reprinted in Dominaria Remastered. And prior to that was also like one of those uncommons in the set that was like, oh, Street Wraith's like $2-3. Not so much anymore. All right, here we go. Gaia's Anthem, Calciderm, Nightshade Assassin. Rare is Life and Limb. That is a 4, followed by... Oh, hey, there you go. Again, I know Chalice is down, but you should never feel upset about seeing a Chalice. That is a really good pull still. I'm always excited to pull a Chalice. Okay, well, that's not going to help your mana value, and we'll see what that does for you. That is a 0, 4, 8, 13. Put you at a 28. Strangely, right there. All right. The good news is that between that, the Pact of Negation, and the Nether Trader, plus a lot of the other $4 or $5 stuff, box is looking a little bit better, despite the Mythics not helping us out. All right, D-Money, you had an 18 coming into this round. You were 2 behind Ezra and Michael for the high coming into this round. Michael's now at a 30, trying to hold off the field. All right. Mystical Teachings, Griffin Guide, Shivan Meteor. Rare is Magus of the Moon, another solid rare pull for sure. That is a 3 for mana value, followed by a Mirror Entity. Love that card. That is also a 3. And that's going to do it there. So add 6 to your total. Here we go. Mystical Teachings. Ship and Meteor. This is a replay. Dread Return. Mythic. Oh, there we go. Well, this box just came around real quick, didn't it? Sliver Legion, as I mentioned, currently the most valuable non-foil in the set. 55-ish, I think, right now. So a heck of a pull. That's exactly what I need. By the way, that is a 5th Mythic. We will take that. Courser of Krufix. D-Money. Congrats on that hit. Well, all of a sudden, you added a Chalice of the Void, a Sliver Legion, and all the other stuff we see in this box. It's at least a solid box. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, what do we got? This is just 3, 6, 9 plus 5, 14. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And, for at least for the moment, that will be enough to put you into the hive. Sliver Legion. There we go. That is immensely helpful. All right, Ezra. Ezra, you had a 20. You're currently now chasing D-Money by 12. All right, Skittering Monstrosity, Spellburst, Calciform Pools. Rare is Coalition Relic. Actually, still a solid card. It's a 3. Shriekmaw is a 5. Looks like we have a foil. We do have a foil. It's a foil common Amaru Seekers. All right, next pack. But that was 8 mana value towards your cause. All right, Lightning Axe, Big Game Hunter, Salt Crested Steppe. Rare is Slaughter Pact. Solid card, does not help your mana value total. And then a Goblin Engineer, which is also another, again, very solid card, but low mana value for this purpose. Goblin Engineer, always a few bucks. Well, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Interesting. All right, so heading into our last round, 1 pack, we have a tight one. Jane V, in the low, respectively by yourself, by a fairly reasonable amount with a 20. Michael with a 30. Fop with a 28. Vincent with a 28. D-Money with a 32 in the high. And then Ezra with a 30 as well. I should really be able to read my handwriting. That's how atrocious it is. Good luck, everyone. Let's have some fun. Jane V, don't do anything crazy. I don't know. That's a solid strategy for this in terms of low mana value. Here we go. Sudden Death. Llanowar Mentor. Might of Old Krosa. Rare is Miri the Cursed. Love me some Miri. That is a 4. Followed by a Grey Merchant of Asphodel. That is a 5. No foil. Gary is quite a good card as well. That is a 9 for mana value. It's going to put you at a 29. You're currently above the other next lowest total by only 1 right now, but we have seen crazier things. We have absolutely seen 0 mana value packs in the past. Michael, you have a 30. You're chasing 2 right now. Oh, that's like our 3rd or 4th Simian Spirit Guide I've seen in this box. I don't hate that. Poultice Sliver. Basalt Gargoyle. Cauterary Sliver. Rare is Angel of Salvation. That is huge. Mana value 8. Followed by a Baral Chief of Compliance as a 2. And that will do it there. But that is a 10. That puts you at a 40 and vaults you back into the high for the moment. All right, Fop. You're now chasing 12 in a single pack. Also, actually very doable in this product. I'm not going to say it's likely, but it's absolutely on the table. There is some stuff we have not seen out of this box that is looming. All right, Phthisis. Prodigal Pyromancer. Storm Entity. Another mythic? Get out of here. Tarmogoyf. That is a 6 mythic box with a non-foil. And Goyf is still good. That is a 2. We don't dislike Goyfs. Johnny's Pride Mate, that is also a 2. Not going to get it done, but I don't hate the extra mythic there. I really don't. That is we'll take that. So 4 puts you at a 32. That will not be enough today. But Pact of Negation and Goyf is not the worst. All right, Vincent. You are also now chasing a 12 because you had a 28. No idea what tiebreakers look like. I would guess that you have a pretty good one. Nope. I'm just looking at the Sliver Legion. I have no idea what tiebreakers look like. I'll just stop there. All right. Harmonize. Arcblade. Lost Oromancers. Rare is Ith High Arcanus. That is a 7. Followed by an Exquisite Firecraft, which is a 3. We have a foil. It is another time-shifted foil. Let's go. Boom. It is waste. That is not going to get the job done as far as high mana value is concerned, but you know what? That is awesome. Second foil time-shifted of the box. I think we can officially call this box good. We got a Sliver Legion. We got a Chalice. We got 2 foil time-shifteds. Yeah, not bad. 7, 8, 9, 10. That puts you at a 38. Again, that will not be enough today for the high, but all things considered, that's awesome. All right, D-Money. You have yourself a 32. You are chasing 8 right now, and I would guess that you have the tiebreaker, so I think an 8 or more gets it done for you. At least as far as over Michael is concerned right now. Still have Ezra behind you. Shaper Parasite, Scrib Ranger, Primal Force Mage. Rare is Sudden Spoiling. Love this card. That is a 3 for mana value. Followed by a Teamer Battle Rage. No foil. That is a 5 for mana value. It's going to give you a 37 and leave you a little short. But a Sliver Legion for your trouble is not the worst place to be. Ezra, you're chasing 10 right now. I should also say that J&V now has the low officially locked up as well, since Ezra's already at a 30 and J&V finished at a 29. But he did not have a 0 mana value pack. Ezra, you need a 10 to tie, an 11 to win. I think you have the tiebreaker, so probably 10 gets it done. Let's see how this goes. Dune Rider Outlaw, Dread Ship Reef. Tombstalker, our second Tombstalker of the box. That is an 8. Followed by a Gurmag Angler with a 7. That's the kind of pack I was talking about. I was like, there's still some stuff in this box we hadn't seen. We actually didn't see the Gargadon today, but double Tombstalker, also kind of a thing. 8 plus 7 is 15. Gives you a 45 and gets you the W for the high. Well, all right. So J&V with a finished low of 29. Michael with a 40. Fop with a 32, Vincent with a 38, D-Money with a 37, and Ezra does take the high with a 45. But I'm just going to say again, before we move into the prize packs, this box was kind of rough from the start. Like, I was like, oh my god, we're just hitting all these mythics that don't matter. We ended up hitting like a 6 mythic box. Goyf is in there, Sliver Legion is in there, so we got one of the big 4. In fact, we got the biggest of the big 4. We got double foil time shifted, which just always makes for a good box. Pact of Negation, Nether Trader, a Chalice in there. Time Spiral Remastered, man. I freaking love this set. I really do. All right, Jane V, you have the low, you have the honors. Let's see if Aether Drift can bring something into the party. Start off with an Afterburner Expert in the Extended Art foil. Hey, there we go. We don't hate Borderless Verge lands. Those are not bad. That's a River Pyre Verge. Demonic Junker. Lost Monarch of Ifnir. Market Back Walker, which I feel like is a strangely too cheap card. Like, card is actually kind of good. And just double checking for some stock ups back there. No stock up back there. All right, but I don't hate the little River Pyre Verge bonus, little borderless. Here we go, Ezra. Hey, oh my goodness. All right, cool. That is a showcase foil, Japanese foil showcase Mu Yanling. That is, unfortunately, it's in like the Japanese, which, you know, I do like the Japanese text, don't get me wrong, but if we're talking value, which I'm going to in this particular, they're substantially cheaper than the English versions just because, hey, people like to be able to read their cards. Nevertheless, we don't dislike Japanese foil showcases cards of any language. This is still a really cool hit. I'll take that. Ovia, Crypt Caller Chariot, and how about a Pia Nalar as a commander mythic? Monument to Endurance as a foil. That's not bad. And no stock up. But we don't dislike Japanese foil showcase cards. That is way to go, Aether Drift. Way to chip in. All right, well, there we go. That's going to do it for me today. It was a little bit of a long one today, but hopefully an enjoyable one for you. Do me a favor. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button for me. Hit the like button for me, and by all means, drop me some comments. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much, everybody, and be well.